All right, y'all, we back in this thing talking about Snowfall. And on this episode of Erica Vane TV, I'm breaking down episode 6, Say a Little Prayer. After episode 5, where we saw Leon accidentally kills Skully's daughter, shooting up the car with his baby mama in it and all of his troops, things get real. Franklin is hiding Leon because the police are looking for him, the streets are looking for him, Skully's looking for him, Manboy's looking for him, everybody's looking for him. And that's where we pick up on this episode. That's what's happening on that end. We get a peek into what's going on in Reed's world. The episode actually opens on Reed Thompson, and he gets a call from his daddy, and his brother has died. Now, y'all, we kind of expected something like this to be coming, because last season we saw Reed had recruited his brother to help fly him down, to help facilitate the movement of this cocaine. He was actually captured and forced to snort mountains, y'all, of cocaine that almost killed him. When he got back, he was having heart issues because of the amount of cocaine that he was forced to consume. So it was pretty much just a matter of time, y'all. It was a matter of time before his brother was going to check out, unfortunately. I'm surprised that he actually lasted that long, because when I remember watching those episodes, I was just like, yo, they're going to kill this man in one of the worst ways. Like, his body's going to just corrode from the inside out with all that cocaine they were making him snort. But this episode opens up with Reed's dad giving him a call, telling him that his brother died. But the most savage part about it is not, okay, your brother's dead, and he was telling him matter-of-factly, like, he died 2 weeks ago. He didn't even call Reed. The funeral has already happened. He's not going to be able to, say his goodbyes, get any type of closure or anything. And then the father also has a couple other choice words for Reed and says, this is probably going to be the last time that we ever speak again. And Reed is just left to sit with that. Like, that's just is what it is, which is probably what prompts him later on in the episode to roll up to Louie's club and roll up on Franklin. And he really just takes it out on Franklin. Like, yes, there's a lot of the drug wars happening, the gang wars happening, the little girl was killed, that came out. Reed wants Franklin to turn Leon in, but Franklin has figured out a way around that, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in this episode. So in all honesty, Reed doesn't have a reason to be concerned, but I think because of his brother's death, because of him not being able to get any closure, and him finding out the way that he did, and him knowing and really feeling guilty for his brother's death, because had he not had his brother there, then this wouldn't have happened, just to be quite honest. All of that comes together and forces him to act the way that he does. It honestly, for me, is just foreshadowing into the breakdown of Reed and Franklin's relationship. Like, it's the beginning of the end, y'all. I actually have a video about that coming up soon, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you do not miss when I drop a Snowfall video. I'm doing these episode breakdowns, but y'all, I need to really jump into some of these characters, some of the relationships, and some of the specific things that are happening, and I got separate videos for each so that we can really understand what's going on. But back to episode 6. So we start off with this sad news about Reed's brother, but then we also get kind of good news, because we see that Wanda's on the tail end of her recovery and getting cleaned up. She is let out of the hospital and is completely sober, but has nowhere to go. Y'all, this is the most heartbreaking thing ever to see, because you can tell that she doesn't want to run right back to the pipe, right? Like, she doesn't want to go and do crack anymore, but she literally has no one to turn to, nowhere to go. She sleeps outside for the first night, but then ultimately breaks down and pages Leon and reaches out for help, because she literally has no one and nothing. And honestly, y'all, I love that they're including this part into the story, because how many people are experiencing this? How many people might have fell down or made a mistake, or got hooked on a drug, got off of it, and then can't stay off of it because they don't have any support to be able to help them on that journey back to recovery and rebuilding. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with Wanda and her story. I don't necessarily think that she's going to completely stay clean, but I do think that this is about to be her redemption story and her recovery, and I hope that they go and really jump down into the depths of this story and give her as much nuance and complicatedness as possible, because I think that it is really beautiful to see, and to see it fully. I think a lot of times on TV we might just see junkies or see crackheads, and it's like, oh, you're crackhead and that's it. And it's like, no, there's so much more to these people who made this choice that put them in this situation, and there's a lot of mechanisms, there's a lot of mindset, there's a lot of things happening to to keep them that way, and think that they already are doing a really beautiful job in how they're handling this in the story, but I'm looking forward for them to expand even more. The like C or D story that's happening in this episode is how everyone is kind of like catching on to Franklin and what's going on. We see for a moment the police actually stop him and try to search the trunk of their car, grabbing him and Peaches and confronting him like, oh, somebody gotta fall, somebody gotta come, we gotta find Leon, somebody gotta take the rap for this girl being killed, so just know that this isn't it. But this is also the same cop who's been speaking to Irene, and he knows a ton about the organization and what's happening behind the scenes. Irene rolls up on Alton back at the shelter, starts giving out ultimatums because she got all this knowledge that she has now, but the T is like she can't use any of it. She doesn't have any viable sources. She has very real factual information that blows up the whole operation, pulls everyone, to the carpet and can hold people accountable, but it will not last in court. It would not stay in court because right now she does not have a reliable witness to corroborate any of the things that she actually has. So she rolls up to the shelter trying to play big bad, and I'm just like, I hope Alton is smarter than this, because since you're throwing out threats and you still don't have anything that you can actually run with legally or run with on paper. She can't print anything yet. I'm sorry, I know I'm not supposed to laugh, but when we go to Skully and we see Skully, Manboy, and Khadijah talking about the revenge, talking about trying to find Leon, and Skully is freaking nailing multiple crosses to his wall, talking about he gotta repent and atone for what he's done, because when he crucified that person, now he believes that the Lord is punishing him, so now he's just surrounding himself with as many crosses as he can find, and he is praying, child, and it's just like, sir, you are repenting for this one person that you crucified, but you have killed hundreds of people without a problem. What are you doing? And he means it, y'all. It's not funny, but it is hilarious. And before we get off of Khadijah, sis is not going anywhere. Her pain isn't going anywhere. And low-key in the relationship between Khadijah and Skully, it's seeming like Khadijah is the one that you really don't want to mess with. Sis is out for blood in this episode. She calls Manboy and Skully out point blank like they ain't doing nothing. She tells Manboy, if you was more worried about actually finding Leon and getting revenge for my daughter's death as you are concerned about finding Franklin's plug, we would have had Leon by now. And she's like, don't even worry about it, I got it. And when she says she got it, y'all, that looks like her stabbing Fatback to death. Like, we literally watch her stab Fatback to death with her own hands. Her homegirl who helped her lure Fatback to this warehouse can't even watch her do it. It's so gruesome. She throwing up in the corner, and Khadijah is going to town, yo. Like, going to town. Rest in peace, Fatback. And of course, this causes some stress and strife between Franklin and Leon, because it is Franklin who convinced Leon that Fatback was going to be the one that needed to take the charge for what was going on, that they were going to get him a lawyer, make sure that he got the least charge possible, but to protect Leon and to clear Leon's name, Fatback was going to have to fall on the sword for this one. Leon doesn't want to do it, but he goes along with it. They get Fatback to turn himself in, and it's when Fatback turns himself in and is about to get bail that, y'all, Khadijah's the one who bailed him out of jail, gets her homegirl to go pick him up, and then basically traps him to be able to kill him. When Leon finds out that Fatback is dead, he loses it, and I understand, like, I can understand that he really feels guilty. Like, Fatback was held up at his cousin's house, nobody had found him yet, nobody had killed him yet, and I don't think it's Leon or Franklin's fault, honestly, because Khadijah was going to get both of them once they popped up anyway. Like, they both couldn't stay in hiding for forever. It was a matter of time, but we can definitely see why Leon is as emotional as he is, and I'm hoping that it doesn't set him and Franklin back, because with Franklin showing up for Leon in the way he is and protecting him, I felt like we were getting back to a good place with the guys. They were making amends and like, all right, we brothers, we back in this thing. But I can definitely see Leon using this as another reason to resent Franklin, and this could also drive a further wedge between them. On the other side of town, or not the other side of town, the middle of America, we in Arkansas, y'all. Aunt Louie and Jerome have made it to Arkansas. They're connecting with Louie's family because they're trying to expand. Louie has her little crack college, honey. She done put together her coursework and she is educating the people like this is how y'all finna get rich. And it's interesting to see like this is actually how stuff was spread, y'all. This is how the crack epidemic was spread, not only in these major cities, but one person doing well going to another small town and like, yo, you my cousin, I'm trying to put you on, we're gonna be good for life, let me show you this real quick. And then now she knows, and however many people that she's going to teach and use to grow her empire. It's like, wow. But I don't think that the spread or the growth or the expansion of Franklin's territory and network is going to be as easy as it seems, because Louie warns them that they cannot smoke the crack, right? But of course, somebody's going to smoke the crack, and it's probably going to be his little cousin right here that got so many questions, so many wonders, so much like, well, I really should, whatever. He's going to turn into a crackhead behind it, because at the time, nobody really knows what this is. This is the first time that they've actually seen it, don't understand it is stronger than cocaine and heroin. And this is how we could also see so many people getting hooked and not being able to get off because they should have never tried it. Louie's cousin's boyfriend throws up a few objections, but ultimately gets on board because at the end of the day, they want financial freedom. They want freedom from their debts. They want to be able to breathe and to be able to do for themselves and take care of themselves without stressing and having to work themselves to the bone to be able to support themselves and the baby that's on the way. And I'm interested to see where this is going to go. I can definitely see one or two of them actually trying it, and I don't know how big this is going to get before they actually get hooked on crack, and then that compromises things a little bit. So Louie's gonna have to wind up coming back to Arkansas to clean up this mess because she doesn't necessarily communicate super clear. She tells them not to use it, but she don't really drive home like, no, don't you use it and this is the reasons why, or giving examples or anything like that. She just kind of says, just listen to me because I said so. Jerome kind of calls her on it. He's like, you just dropped napalm on them, and it's real. Like, you can't expose people to something like this, especially if you're not addressing if they have addictive personalities. Clearly they know how to use drugs or have used drugs before, so they would be interested in trying a new drug. It's like, this I don't even want to say it's 50-50, y'all. It's really like 30-70. 70% chance they gonna be using it and hooked on this stuff, ain't gonna be able to sell it, and that's gonna be bad for business. In other news, Uncle Jerome didn't know that Reed was CIA. I was really surprised by this. I'm so surprised when so many people, Gustavo didn't know, Uncle Jerome didn't know. I'm just like, all these people who are heavy in it, been dealing with this man for now years, have no idea. But Louie clues him in on it because Jerome is really itching to get out. He's really itching to stop. He feels like they have made enough money, they have plenty, they don't need to keep going on. And then Louie drops the bomb on him like, we have to keep going on because we in bed with the feds. We doing this for the feds. They need to be able to fund this war, and that's what we're doing. And it just, a light bulb hits Jerome, and now he's like, okay. Which I don't think that this is going to waylay him from wanting to still get out. I think now he's just going to try to figure out how they're going to get out with that. It's going to be interesting when he goes to confront Franklin about it, because he's not supposed to know, but he's definitely going to confront Franklin about it. And now that's going to be two people who are actively like, Franklin, we need to stop, because as you know, Sissy's like, we need to be done with this. What's the exit plan? What are we doing? She's been saying that all season and the end of last season. So now Uncle Jerome is going to join in on that, and rightfully so, because like I said, I think that Reed and Franklin's relationship is the beginning of the end, and they need to start thinking of some contingency plans ASAP. But all right, y'all, now it's your turn. Tell me what you thought of episode 6, season 4 of Snowfall. Congratulations to the entire crew, cast, and creatives behind Snowfall. They have been renewed for season 5, so we will be getting more from Franklin and the gang either the end of this year or next year with a season 5. That is so exciting. I really love how they are telling this story, and I love how nuanced and beautiful and complicated the characters are. So I cannot wait, not only for the rest of this season, but for what they do in season 5. Congratulations all around. You guys are killing it. If you haven't already, come on and join the tribe by hitting subscribe. I'm Erica Vane, and I post new videos every single day, usually multiple times a day, and I'm covering the best shows on television, the most amazing films streaming or in theaters, as well as bringing y'all entertainment news. So you don't want to miss an upload. Make sure that you're subscribed. Hit like because you made it to the end of the video, so I know that you liked it, and tell me all of your thoughts, comments, and theories in the comment section down below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.